John G. Smith from Newcom Media is on the show this week, and we get talking about freight rates and hiring drivers and Truck World that's coming up in April. Stay tuned. Here's John G. Smith.
Welcome to the Trucking Risk and Insurance Podcast.
Mr. John G. Smith, welcome to the
Yay!
Trucking Risk and Insurance Podcast. John, what's happening? Well, maybe first of all, do a quick intro. Who are you? Who do you work for? And what's the big deal? Why am I so excited to have John G. Smith on the show?
Well, so who signs my paycheck is Newcom Media. So we put out trucknews.com, Today's Trucking, Transport Routier, and the Truck World and ExpoCam trade shows, among other titles. And so I'm the vice president of content and design. So basically the content that feeds your way, that kind of falls under my umbrella.
Mm-hmm. And the emails that I get on a regular basis that I read that keeps me up to date in the news of trucking, the majority of that comes from your sources.
That's what we like to do, and we have one of the largest editorial teams focused on trucking in North America. So we're quite proud of the team that we have, and with folks. We have James Menzies as the head at Today's Trucking, of course, and Steve Bouchard at Transport Routier, and then there's Leo, Christina, and Jim Park certainly is a regular contributor. So a lot of names I think people are familiar with, and every once in a while I type out a few words and push them out as well.
Cool. Well, I was going to say, because, being one of the largest in North America is impressive for a Canadian operation, and probably one of the best. I receive Today's Trucking and in digital and paper, and then I also get all the digital formats for Truck News and the other ones. And it's interesting because what I really like about Newcom is they don't just touch on Canadian news; they touch on North American news.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's a North American industry, right? And certainly on the equipment side of things, so much of that development starts with the OEMs in that North American context, and then comes up for our uses. So it just makes sense. So we tack on a lot of miles covering a lot of area.
Yeah, no doubt.
And I'm really excited. There's something happening in April that I want to make sure we hit on. And
rain showers, right? Because isn't it shower? What is it?
April
rain
showers,
in April,
spring flowers, May.
Something like that. Yeah. So we're gonna get wet in April.
No, you don't have to get wet in April, because April 18th to 20th we have Truck World. So that's at the International Center in Mississauga. Every 2 years, it comes in. It's the place where the trucking industry comes together. It's a big year for us this year. So we're going to have in the neighborhood of 500 exhibitors, 350,000 square feet. But another side is we're really pushing together quite the educational program this time around. So the kickoff breakfast, we're bringing up the CEO of Nikola to talk on that, and we're going to have panel discussions on all things about sustainable trucking. Equally, the North American Council for Freight Efficiency, they're coming up, and they're going to be hosting a workshop that's covering all things battery electric vehicles, because we're kind of at that tipping point for these types of vehicles. The trucks are a bit of a reality. Fleets are starting to buy them, and we thought, this is the time when people are really starting to ask the questions, and we're going to be there for the answers. And then there's also going to be plenty of diesel equipment there. We're going to have a special event specifically for the South Asian community there. There's the driver recruitment pavilion. There's Hat Day. We're always handing out the free ball hats every Saturday morning at Truck World. That's actually, it's kind of funny. I throw that one out and on the free hats, but it's a blast for us because everybody at Newcom, we load our arms up and we personally hand those out, thousands of hats, and welcome people in on the Saturday morning. And it's a great way to say thank you for people who are coming in and welcome them to the show.
Yeah, cool. I've gotten many a hat from Hat Day.
Well, honestly, it's a show that I haven't missed in probably 20 years. Wow. I look forward to it. When back in my old Republic days, we always, and I'm sure they're back again this year, but they always had a booth. So I got to work the show for those 3 days. Since I've been self-employed for the last 10 years, I make it to every show. It's a
Mhm.
necessary part of the industry. The people I get to shake hands with and see you and all the other movers and shakers, they're all there at Truck World, I believe.
Yep. No, we definitely we pull everyone in by the thousands. It's and it is by far we're proud to say it's the biggest national show in Canada for trucking. So and the
Wow.
tradition continues. I've been I don't think I've ever missed one myself. So
Well, and it's all indoors, so you can get
that's
in
right.
out of the rain.
Well,
Out of the April showers, no April showers.
Yes.
Maybe you
Yeah.
might step out in it briefly because we have also a ride and drive component with
I,
a lot of the
Oh,
zero emission vehicles this year. So
cool.
I know people are going to be booking their spots to
Yep.
get in the cab and take some of that equipment for a ride.
Oh, that'd be neat.
yeah, that's what I had heard is that you're going to be able to drive some zero emission vehicles at the show.
Mhm.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a rare opportunity. I mean, I know our editorial team. We've had the opportunity to get behind the wheel of a lot of this equipment to go for the rides, to take the deep dives. But a lot of that we've done at U.S. shows. So really, the truck world for a lot of Canadian fleets and owner operators, this is going to be one of their first chances to really get a chance to get up close personal and ask those different questions they have on them.
Cool.
Yeah, and I think that's huge because if I remember the stat, 20% of our environmental pollution comes from transportation. So anything that we can do to help reduce that is
Hmm.
going to contribute to a better world eventually.
Yeah.
Well, an interesting side of that too, in terms of the timing. So the federal government signaled that they want 35% of medium or heavy duty vehicles to be zero emission designs by 2030. So that's not that far into the future. So people need to start figuring out how that's going to fit in. The rollout still has different challenges ahead of it. Certainly, even the federal government has recognized that in different ways, and they've yet to really finalize that particular sales target. But we know they're coming, and
Hmm.
we know that regulators are rolling us in that direction. So that early exposure helps fleets to understand what they're going to be working with, what the needs are, what the different challenges are.
Cool.
Yeah, so people got to come out to Truck World and look at that new equipment. And how do you book a test drive? Because you had mentioned booking it.
You know what? There's going to be a space at the show for the signups on those
Yeah.
particular rides, and I should personally know which hall and everything like that. And because I don't, our vice president of shows is going to be tapping me on the shoulder after this recording, and maybe I'll miss the next Truck World. I don't know.
Well, I'm sure, John, John G, that you can send me the location and I'll put it in the show notes down
Awesome.
below so that we keep you employed.
Perfect. I like the sound of that. And I have a remarkable sense of self-preservation. So.
All right. So, once again, when is Truck World and where is
Uh,
it?
So it's April 18th to 20th, and that's at the International Center in Mississauga. So close to the airports and hotels and all that sort of thing, and some easy highway access.
Cool.
Only about 40 minutes from my place here in Hamilton. But
Good
hey,
deal.
Depending on traffic.
Yeah.
well, and again, Truck World, because of the hours, I get to miss the rush hour traffic. I don't know
Mm.
what time does it open on the Thursday? 10 o'clock,
Oh
5?
gosh, you know what? You're killing
Uh-oh.
me here. That I should have had that handy. But if you go to truckworld.ca
Yep.
and I'm just doing that right now because it has all of the details about Truck World as we go in. in
We'll
terms
make sure that web
of
link
the
is
time.
in the show notes below.
Yeah,
It will be. We'll make
it
sure
will
that.
absolutely be. But yeah, so truckworld.ca. There's a site right there, and you can get all of the hours. But
Yeah.
Cool.
And I forgot that I never get to the breakfasts, which is before the show opens. So
Mm.
yeah, so
if
that's I could say that's the time I know. So I know that the VIP breakfast starts Thursday and runs 8 to 9:30, and as we go in on that side. And but again, we're quite excited up there because well, with Steve Gursky coming up, there's a lot of discussion about Nikola and hydrogen fuel cells these days. So he's coming up, but we have also the founder during one of the panels on the heels of that. We're going to have the CEO of Lion Electric there. We're going to have representatives of Hexagon and Cellcentric and go on and on. But and then major Canadian fleets who are actually working on some of these, whether it's Bison or Challenger or just a lot of brands that people are going to be familiar with. They're all there.
Cool.
And yeah, anyways, we got to do something about the environment, and I'm happy that Truck World is really emphasizing that in their
Hmm.
show this year. But that's not the only thing, because all the normal conventional diesel engines and components and manufacturers, as you said, it's the largest show in Canada of its kind.
Hmm.
Yep. And on that end, I mean, we're going to have the first Canadian showing of the new Volvo on site as well. So that was just launched in the last few weeks. We've had coverage of that, and I know James has conducted a test drive of it. You can find details of that at trucknews.com. And Steve Bouchard was looking at that as well. So his is at transportroutier.ca.
Cool.
But you can see it firsthand, and you know, put your fingers on it and climb inside at Truck World.
Well,
That'd be cool.
let me ask, and it's tied to Truck World, the audience this year. John and I have had many discussions about,
Mhm.
are we in a freight recession at the moment? Which of course could impact many things of Truck World, attendance, purchasing, and everything. What are you finding right now? How are freight rates generally? You get to talk to a lot of people and equipment manufacturers and different stuff. What's your view on it right at the moment?
Well, you know what? We're certainly in a softer part of the market, and it cycles through. And you know, and it's interesting in those softer times. That's when people have the time to do some of their planning too, and where they can actually where we see lesser wait times for equipment. So it's the equipment sales are still going strong. So last year, for example, was about a 30,000 unit Class 8 year, and still you know, looking at a good strong year ahead of us on the sales side of things. But it's been quite the quite the active market on that side. But back to your original question, not to dance around that because I hate it when sources do that to me. But, but when we look at the market, I mean, the spot rates have certainly taken a big hit on that end of things, and so we're seeing some of the hit are those owner operators, those fleets that were riding the spot market, and maybe more recent entries, and they're thinking, you know, hey, trucking's easy. Look at everything that we can do here. It's you know, the money's plentiful, and then basically we've hit that spot where a lot of the again, freight has dropped down, and a lot of that spot business has found its way into the contract side of things.
Yes. Yes.
And you know, trucking is like the canary in the coal mine on the economy. When the economy is weak, trucking tends to be slow. We've come off some very bizarre cycles just post pandemic, of course. So like that's, you know, that's dictated a lot of it. But I think we're back to the stage where we're seeing some normal waiting times on the Class 8 side of things. Probably on used truck sales, some of that late model used truck side of things, the prices have come down a little bit on that side. But it's going to be, even and regardless of where we are, I think in terms of the market right now, we're going to see a lot of interest in purchasing short term on the horizon because we have those new emission standards that are coming up that are going to be slashing NOx a great deal. And when we look at that, we're probably going to see people starting to look at a pre-buy before that comes on because some of those that 80% cut in NOx that's probably going to add $30,000 to the price of a Class 8 truck in 2027 in that model year. So, 2025 and 2026 model years, I think are going to be pretty popular. And that's, that manufacturers are gearing up for some of that as well. It's just because that, that happens before every change in standards. Anything that takes a bump, there's going to be some people who are a little slower to think, maybe I don't want to be the pioneer with that equipment. Maybe I could change my trade-in cycle a little bit. And so I'm expecting that based on what I'm hearing from the manufacturers themselves and based on what our journalists in the field are hearing as well.
Sure. Cool. Well, I know some clients that I deal with have actually, one, because of the spot market rates that are going on, and two, volumes. They've actually switched, and instead of buying new equipment, they've been doing rentals and working with rental units until they feel that things stabilize a bit more. And again, prior to that 2027 year, they're looking to do that pre-buy, but they're kind of all holding back right now to try and see what they can put in the bank in the meantime.
And that's always the tough balance in trucking, right? Because when you have the business lined up and the opportunity, you want to make sure you have the equipment available. So it's just whether we're talking equipment or drivers, when the business is there, you want to be able to jump on it. And at a certain point, you can have hopes going, well, I'm going to rent equipment, or I'm going to I'm go out and buy new ones. Sometimes there's a lot of other people in the line with you, so that's what drives a lot of that.
Yep.
I would think if I was wanting to buy a 26 model, the year of 2026, I'd be putting my order in early because I got to believe there will be a long line of people trying to do that.
You know what? I think there is going to be quite a run on that, and it's different. The truck OEMs have done a great job in recent years in terms of evening out their production processes. Because when we saw the big switch in the really long waits or the real surge in truck production back in an earlier generation. They added a lot of capacity, and then what happened is it dropped off suddenly, and they were stuck with all this capacity. So they've been managing things, but that has also meant that we had some longer runs in terms of what we were waiting for a truck order right now. And I think we're at around 6 months now, based on what we're seeing from different analysts, which is in line with a normalized market, but certainly as we get closer to the new emission standards, I think we're going to see those timelines start to stretch out.
Yeah, and right now, as I say, I think the freight rates are a little bit low. I hear a lot.
I've never heard anyone in trucking say the rates were too high, to be honest.
That's true.
Well, not that they were too high, but during COVID, I saw a lot of smiles on trucking people.
Yep. A lot of people making money.
Yeah, and you know what the great thing about that when that was happening too, that pushed up driver wages overall too, and it helped us as an industry across the board. I really think it helped normalize some things there.
Yeah, it was a good time, as I say. I saw a lot of smiles on both drivers and owners, for everybody. It was a good time. Freight was moving. The profits were reasonable or good, and people were happy. But
Yeah.
as you said,
It's tough. It's a cyclical business, right? I
Yeah.
mean, I've been covering trucking now since about '95, and just the swings. It's not for the faint of heart.
No.
I mean,
No.
anybody who thinks that they found a spot where, okay, this is where the rates are going to be from now until the end of time. I mean, good luck with that. I mean, if
Yeah.
you can figure out that you're going to be very rich.
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah. I've been
Please
in
send
it.
the details my way so I can get
Yeah.
in on it as
I
well.
was going to say I've been in it for 40 plus years now, and I remember when I started in the 80s. You had your ups and downs then just as well, and you're 100% right. It's not for the faint of heart, and sadly, it is too easy to get into this industry. So you have a lot of people that go, "Ooh, I see dollar signs. I see dollar signs," and they're not business savvy, but they're quick to go, I can get a truck, I can go haul some freight, look at the money I'm going to make. And then when the bottom falls out of it in 2 months' time, you've overpaid for your truck, you're paying outrageous insurance and fuel prices and payments, and now all of a
Mhm.
sudden you can't even make enough money to cover half that, let alone take some money home to cover the mortgage payment. So it becomes a very challenging world for new entrants into the industry.
No, absolutely, absolutely that, and it's and it happens in every cycle. This isn't a new time. This isn't something that suddenly happened, but it's
Mhm.
just and particularly on the new entrants, when you see that spot market start to rise, when you
Yep.
see
Yep.
more goods that need to be moved than we have trucks on the road. People
Mhm.
who have an AZ license in their pocket see an opportunity, or in some cases, if they have a couple of trucks, maybe they add a couple of trucks more, and it goes for the ride. And those who find the right times for that and find those opportunities for growth and all that, they become fleets like the Challengers of the
Yep.
world, right?
Yep.
I mean, when you look at it, that comes about planning growth and seeing the opportunities and knowing when
Yep.
to invest.
Correct. Yep. Yep.
right now, if I was a trucking recruiter, right now is a great time to be in the market to hire drivers because
Mhm.
I'm being told there are plenty of drivers,
Yep.
qualified
Yep.
drivers on the market. What are
Yep.
you hearing?
You know what? Certainly, I always hate to say plenty because finding the right drivers is still a challenge, no matter what the economic times are, right?
Yeah,
But looking at it from what people that we're talking to, they're clearly having an easier time finding drivers than they were, in part because you have some of those people who are selling off equipment, going back into the driving pool. And then some of it, when you're managing surges in freight, when times are high and you're trying to bring more on board, it's just a classic case of supply and demand.
Mhm.
But there's a lot of still long term issues that still present challenges there.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
Canada has in the neighborhood of 340,000 transport drivers right now, and so but when you look at it, it's an aging work pool as well. There's particular growth over the 65 year old range, which is a challenge. But and then trying to find new people bringing in. I first talked about, heard people talking about the driver shortage, I think, on my first week in the industry.
Mhm.
And there's
Mhm.
there's a lot of people out there say that there's no driver shortage, and there is some of that debate, but in the grand scheme of things, there's no overlooking the fact that the driver pool is aging, if you will,
Mhm.
that we have today, and so we need to take those other steps that pull in new people, and the good thing is, I think we're seeing some recognition from different governments in terms of the need, just by the fact of where they're putting their money. So
Mhm.
there was recently the federal Career Expressway program that was $43 million to train and onboard around 2,600 new drivers, and then there was a youth employment strategy that had another 26 million. Those were both programs linked to Trucking HR Canada. They administer
Mhm.
all that side
Mhm.
of things. But I think even as those programs themselves have done their particular job, I think it's still part of the recognition from from the regulators, on the government side, that things need to be done to help the supply chain and to help renew that supply chain, and you see the supply of drivers and things like opening the express entry immigration path for drivers. That's another side there, another recognition that, okay, we need more people looking to be truck drivers. And it's not only so there's replacing those who age out of the industry and retire. There's replacing those who decide, I don't want to be a truck driver anymore. I want to go do something else, or maybe I've been promoted to another role. Who knows? The other side of things is just taking a look at building for the growth. Hiring, so the 340,000 drivers we have today, there will need to be steadily more. So we're always playing that little game of catch up as you go.
Yeah. I was going to say, one of the things that's always tough is just the role of being a truck driver is not an easy job or career, for that matter. I did it for 20 years behind the wheel, and you sacrifice a lot, family wise and whatnot, health even, because it's not always easy to get a good meal out there and whatnot. And sadly enough, we're seeing a lot of truck stops now are doing away with the home cooked meal aspect and building up fast food restaurants to take over. So it makes it a big challenge, and you've really got a lot of time scheduling and understanding how life works. And I don't think that we as an industry do a good enough job to make that better for the drivers, and as well as set the drivers up for success when they're coming into this industry.
Well, you know what? A lot of that depends on the fleet as well. So in terms of who they bring in, I mean, some fleets have great onboarding programs that set them up for success, and will keep people moving into the career and the opportunities, and some don't. I mean, there's and I think that's probably true in every industry. But I think that but I think there's a greater focus on care for drivers in different ways. When you look at those better fleets and some of the fleets that recognize through programs like I said Trucking HR Canada, so their top fleet employers program. There's the Best Fleets to Drive For program. But essentially, those through those programs, you see a lot of things that different fleets are doing to help make a difference, to help offset that in terms of how they schedule the hours. I mean, there's still the recognition that freight still has to move, if you will, over a distance. But investing in driver facilities with gyms, we see some of those, or the employee assistance program. So it's, again, some fleets really do a better job at that, and I think that it's particularly important when new drivers come in and are finding those first employers that how they view the industry is very much going to be dictated by how they were treated when they first went out the door.
Yeah, I've met a few clients over my years who have really listened to their drivers and done well. I knew one company, they were very well known for California running. That's all they did. Built their business on the back of California lanes. And, here in the mid to later 2000s, they were listening to their drivers, because the drivers are going, I don't want to be gone this long. I want to get home. I want to build a family. I've got a young wife and we want to have kids. And the company listened, and they pulled back from those California lanes, and they started doing stuff where a driver could be out and back in 5 to 6 days, and then have a couple of days off. So that was great, and it was funny because him listening to the drivers in that fashion, he never had a recruiting problem. He had a problem with guys lined up at the door wanting to come work because he was listening to drivers, and they were going, I want to work for you. You got Ohio runs? I just want to do Ohio runs and be home by Friday afternoon. So
well, that's the thing. I mean, it's interesting as fleets are looking to find that competitive edge when they're recruiting. Some of them look at, can we work some sort of hub and spoke model on that side of things. But then it's also trying to match out what the drivers want, because so yeah, there's a lot of drivers going, I don't want to be away that long, but there's others who are just going, I want to put on the miles. If I'm running down to Laredo, Texas, and back to Ontario, it's more open drive. I'd rather do that than do Jersey turns any
Yeah.
day of the week. It's nothing against New Jersey, but I remember
everybody
talking
loves
to,
Jersey.
oh yeah, I just remember talking to one guy that I knew several years ago who insulted his dispatcher, and then suddenly he was running New Jersey for I think a couple of months, and then until he got back on his regular lane. So I don't know what that says about New Jersey, but I know he was happy to get back off it.
Hey, John G, as we wrap up, can you hit the dates again for Truck World? Because I think that's really important. I
Yep.
hope to see our listeners and our viewers at the show.
Yes.
When is Truck World again?
Absolutely. Well, Truck World is April 18th to 20th, and that's at the International Center in Mississauga. You can find out all the details you want on the show at truckworld.ca. There's chances there to be registering for different things, such as that new NACFE battery electric side of things, or the workshop they're doing. But really, all the details on the show are right there, and we look forward to seeing everyone. I know I'm going to be on the show floor for the entire run. I'm happy to see anybody come by. I'm kind of a tall, lanky fellow, so I could be spotted in a crowd every once in a while. So you can pull me aside at any time.
Hey, I know the Saturday of the show, there's always a lot of kids there and a lot of families, and I always enjoy seeing what are potentially our new next generation coming to the show during those days as well. But John G,
Cool.
Truck World and Truck News, thank you so much. Newcom is the
Thank
name
you.
of the company, right? Who writes the check?
That is right. Newcom is the fine name of my employer, and that's trucknews.com or transportroutier.ca.
And that was a great interview with John G. Smith of Newcom. If you see us, John G., John Farquhar, or Chris Harris at the truck show Truck World in April, please stop us, say hi. Hope to see you at Truck World. We'll all be there.